What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another great video. Today's video, a little bit different than our typical videos, but still very much so along the lines of investing. Today, we're not only talking about Social Security, we're not only talking about investing, but we're also talking about how the government is running the biggest Ponzi scheme known to mankind. So stay tuned. A lot of research, a lot of cool stuff we're going to be dropping on this video. Many people asked me to make this, so it's finally time that we drop the bomb. So everybody, stay tuned. We're going to share the screen here. So we got a couple slides to go through. What we're going to do is just run you through a couple pages. It's super simple information. All you got to do is really Google it and then use common sense to realize that your government is always the problem and usually is screwing the public. So let's first start here with this page. I'm going to scroll over to this one. So on average, the typical person will pay in about $3,000 per year, $3,045 per year into Social Security. Okay, so if you want, write that down. Average person per year will pay $3,000 into Social Security. We'll go over to the next page here. On average, somebody who claims or collects Social Security, of course, by retirement age and at the age you're able to collect it, on average, will be able to collect $2,861 per month. Okay, to the next one. When can you collect Social Security? You can collect Social Security, which ranges from ages 65 to 67, but potentially at 62 if you qualify. So yada, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Pretty much you're able to collect Social Security at around age 65, which is kind of the typical, rule of thumb for the age that most people would retire at. Okay. Now let's go over to the next slide. The average life expectancy, this is obviously based on 2016, but again, the average life expectancy here in the United States is arguably 79 years old. You could round it up to 80. We all know women live a little bit longer than men. Men don't live quite as long as women. That's probably because they always make us do the heavy lifting, but that's for another discussion. But what we do know is that the average person here in the United States lives to about age 80. Okay? So why does your life expectancy matter? Well, we have to think about it, okay? Remember, we go back. The average person pays in $3,000 a year. So if you're someone like me who started working at a younger age, maybe age 18, I was been working full-time since then, I've been paying into the system and will continue to pay into the system for pretty much the entirety of my life up until I am able to collect Social Security. So if I start working at age 18 and I plan to retire around age 65, which is also the age that I'd be able to collect Social Security, I'd be paying into the system for roughly 47 years. Long time. But remember, your average life expectancy is 80. So if the average person retires at age 65, and again, you get to collect Social Security around age 65, and your average life expectancy is 80, that means you get to collect for only 14 years while paying in for an average of 47 years. Again, that's if you worked for the entirety of your life, starting at 18, again. So you get to pay in for 47 years, and then you get to collect for roughly 14 years. Now, mind you, a Ponzi scheme works like this, in the simple terms. Basically, it's a fraudulent Ponzi scheme pyramid system in which the only way it works is if you have continuous money flowing in from the bottom to the top. So ideally, the way it works is you pay me money, I give it to somebody else who is already paid in so that they don't feel they're getting left out. So again, the system of a Ponzi scheme only works if you can continuously get people to pay in from the bottom to pay out people on the top. Something that's not a Ponzi scheme is if you took away all the future incoming cash flow from people paying and were still able to pay out everybody on the top, then it wouldn't be a Ponzi scheme. So the question, again, you must ask yourself, and of course we like to ask government officials, which again, they always dodge, is if today we stopped collecting any sort of tax revenue for Social Security, would you be able to continuously pay out all of the people that are supposed to be collecting and that have already paid into the system or paid their fair share? And of course, the answer is no. So again, if they cannot successfully pay out everybody on the top who is supposed to be collecting and everybody who is already paid in, then you're running a Ponzi scheme, and there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right? Now we're going to take a look at some fun facts. So we're going to pull up this calculator. So remember that the average person pays in $3,045 a year into Social Security. If we divide that by 12 months, that means the average person pays about $253 every single month into Social Security, okay? Now remember that the average person gets to collect $2,861 every single month from Social Security. So 2,861, we'll times that by 12. So that comes out to $34,000 a year that they get to collect from Social Security, okay? Doesn't sound too bad. It sounds really terrible when you realize you've just been ripped off. So what we should be doing is we should be taking a look at how much the average person pays in, and let's see if we could set up our fellow Americans and citizens on a better path to retirement rather than having the government try and set them on a better path to retirement. So let's take a look. So what we're going to use here is an investment calculator from none other than Dave Ramsey. So if you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey, he's basically a guy that's all about saving and investing and, not using debt and all sorts of cool stuff. He's a pretty smart dude. So we're going to use his website. All right, so let's come down here. We'll just say that your current age, we'll just use me for example, okay? I'm 25, okay? And I want to retire, we'll do 65. I want to retire at 65, okay? I have money saved for retirement, but we're just going to say that I don't have too much money saved for retirement. Let's just say I have $5,000 saved for retirement right now, okay? Remember that the average person paid in, $251 a year, okay? So the average person pays in about the average person pays $251 a month into Social Security. So if we eliminated having to give our money away to a Ponzi scheme that we already know the government is running, we could put that $251 away ourselves, whether that be investing on our own behalf or whether we give it to a financial advisor or some type of private company, whether it's a Roth IRA, a 401k, doesn't matter. Let's say we eliminate the Ponzi scheme at hand and keep our money and invest it ourselves. We could be putting away $251 a month. Let's say that we earn. Let's just have some fun. Let's say we earn a very, very magical rate of 12%, which I will say would be hard, but not impossible. 12% annually. Oh, I put a decimal there. Okay. 12% annually. Let's calculate. So it's calculated. So again, if you were 25, retiring at 65, putting away $5,000, plan to contribute $251 per month, earning a whopping 12% return annually over the course of that time period, you'd come out to a total, based on Dave Ramsey's calculator here, a wealth calculator, you'd come out to a whopping $2.9 million. That's a lot of money, right? Well, let's take a look at the calculator here. Let's pull it up. So remember that the average life expectancy was 80, and we get to collect at 65. So that means, on average, we got 14 years to spend that money or do whatever we want with it. So again, you have 14 years, right? 14 times by 12. So you got 168 months to live. Remember, the government was giving you, on average, $3,000 a month to live on. Well, let's see just how much $2.9 million comes out to when we divide that by 168, right? So 2,927,511 divided by 168 equals None other than $17,425 per month to live on. Far better than $3,000. That is just simple math for you. But again, that was if we were returning 12%. So again, if we were whoppingly making 12% annually over the course from 25 until 65, we would be able to roughly spend and or use $17,000 per month. Of course, that's not considering taxes that you pay and all those other little fees when you take it out of your investment account. So again, there's some other little things in there, but that's $17,000. That is arguably $14,000 better than what the government can do for you. Okay, let's take it a little step further. Let's say you are 18 paying in until you're 65 and you have $5,000 already saved up and you're going to do the same thing, contribute $251 a month. Let's calculate that at 12% return. It goes up to $6 million just for contributing for those additional 7 years. So if you started at 18, you'd grow your wealth by almost another $3 million. Crazy that you aren't taught these sorts of things. Crazy that the government thinks that it can do better for you, okay? Mind you, that $251 is what you're paying into Social Security tax. Remember that as an individual who is smart and isn't a sheep, you're supposed to be saving money for your own retirement. So think about it. If you could save if you could get back your $251 and then save more money on top of that, which you're already supposed to be doing, right? You're supposed to be setting aside money for retirement regardless of what you pay into Social Security. So imagine if this $251 went to $500 because you already saved $250 a month. And then the government finally fesses up that they've been running a Ponzi scheme for the longest time and it's really not sustainable, and that they start giving our money back. You get to put $500 away. Now it goes to $12 million. All right, so let's just do a little bit of math here. What does, let's see, what was it, 168? So I got 12,205,069 divided by 168. So now you have a whopping $72,649 and some change every single month, which again becomes only a fractional $69,000 better than what the government can do for you. Now remember, that was at a 12% return. I mean, we could be generous and say it's going to be 8% because that's probably more likely. So now you go back to 2.8 million, right? So the percentage factor there, mind you, when investing long term, just the smallest little percent makes the biggest difference when it comes to investing. But regardless of the 8% or regardless of the 5% or the 2% or whatever it is you actually get, you will be better off if you were able to invest your own money wisely over the course of your lifetime rather than having to give it away to a Ponzi scheme, right? So now with all this Ponzi scheme talk, no way are they running a Ponzi scheme. Let me just show you something real quick. And then you guys can also do your own research on this, okay? I'm going to read this for you for a little bit. If you're not familiar with the way the Social Security kind of thing works, in simple terms, basically you're going to pay in money on your taxes, so do employers, out of your paychecks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's going to go to our government, to a different department, not just necessarily the government. But when it goes to them, they're going to take that money, of course, right? And I'll read this to you. Any money remaining in the trust fund is converted into a special issue treasury bond, which are really nothing more than an IOU, which is an IOU. There is nothing there. Okay. In addition, the Treasury pays interest on the trust fund's balance. So the money that we're spending away or putting away into this trust fund is gaining interest, but very shittily, not big interest, not better than what you could get giving it into a private trust fund or managing it yourself or having a financial advisor do it for you. Okay. So Again, here we go. In addition, the Treasury pays interest on the trust fund's balance by creating the trust fund with an additional IOU. These are also strictly accounting entries. If you know anything about accounting, it's just moving numbers from this sheet to this sheet, okay? Nothing more than accounting entries, and again, no money changes hands. After crediting the trust fund with the proper amount in IOUs, the IOUs, the government spends the extra Social Security tax collections. So to put this in simple terms, if we give the government in Social Security $1,000 this year, and it has to pay out $500 in liabilities to all the people supposed to collect, it will then spend the additional $500 on whatever it wants, and then it will fill up the balance sheets of the trust fund with an IOU. So again, we pay in $1,000. They only have to pay out $500 in terms of liabilities to whom's supposed to collect. Then they use the additional money that we gave them that's supposed to go in this trust fund. They spend and fill that trust fund with not the actual, real, hard $500. They just write it in with an IOU. So again, we give them money that's supposed to go in a trust fund, that's supposed to be there for when we retire. They're supposed to take care of us. But then they spend that money and write us in with an IOU. When the simple math tells us that if we just educate our fellow Americans and citizens to be financially literate, we can ensure that they have a stronger, better financial future for retirement. But somehow this magically happens, yet we don't know. So I ask you guys, for those of you out there, most people, for some reason, think it's always best to let the government handle things. Just mind you, note, the government hardly solves problems. They just make more. The government does not want to empower. Remember, a government wants more and more power. They don't want to empower, right? We want a country of people that are empowered, are independent, financially, educationally, are smart. That is not what your government wants. Government wants power, and the one thing that they can do to gain more of this power is to create a country and a civilization of sheep or people whom are dependent on the government. If you are dependent, you are not independent. Remember that. And that is just fun facts for you, simple math, simple education to show you what is really going on and why it's extremely important for you to take control of your financial future. So one of which is doing by studying and educating yourself on investing, long-term investing, the rule of 72. And again, don't be misled by what, again, media, news, and the government tells you, because again, they are not to be trusted most of the time. Hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys learned something new today. As always, leave a comment below, because I'm sure there's many people that have concerns about this, or people that collect Social Security, and people that have been around much longer than me, that have been seeing this Ponzi scheme and this problem unraveling for much longer than I have. So I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Do you believe this is a Ponzi scheme? Do you believe that Social Security is sustainable? And do you believe that we'd be better off having individuals save for themselves, or there has been another possible route we could take, which is, instead of giving the money to the federal government, the money actually goes to a private company who handles the trust that will grow a better return than the federal government. But I will mind you, this was actually brought up a long time ago. I don't know which president it was. I'd actually have to find it for you. Maybe I'll link it in the description below. But this was something that was proposed to have all the Social Security money going to a private company to fund it. Yet, what do you think the government said? They said, well, we don't want to do that because then we won't have access to the money. That's what they said. They said, we don't want the Social Security money going to a private company for them to do what they want with, because we won't have access to that money for what we want to do, which just goes to show they're taking and stealing your money to do whatever they please. So again, leave comments below, like the video, share it so somebody can learn something new today. Again, want to hear what you guys think. As always, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.